So when you go down to Mexico,
hey, before we do, Conrad, let me tell you a little story about Korea first, okay? If you don't mind. So we had this, we were bored over there, especially when we're stuck over there for a week with nothing to do. So there was Japanese boys were there with us, and so there was this big Japanese kid. He was a sumo guy, kind of like Ishin Riki, but a big kid, and not as big a star. And so, we're young and dumb, and so we super glue him into his room. You put super glue around the door, and you pull the door shut, and you super glue the door. We didn't know he was claustrophobic. So he sumos the door and breaks the entire door frame out. The whole door frame. Think about how powerful this kid is. So we're like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't find out who it is. He'll kill us. So we're flying back from Korea to Japan. Well, apparently he found out I was in on it. So I'm in the bathroom, going to the bathroom, number 2. So I'm sitting on the toilet. He comes in and he sumos the bathroom door. He knocks the door off its hinges. I'm sitting in the toilet like this, like freaking Tyrion Lannister in the freaking Game of Thrones. I'm just sitting there on the toilet. About 30 people can see me. So, and the door is broke. Now my pants are down. I'm on the toilet, and I can't get the door unbroken. And I still got to finish. It was probably one of the best receipts I've ever gotten in my life.
My God. Why are all the good wrestling stories, they involve number 2? Why is that?
I don't know. There is a commonality there. So I'm in. I got a rope with me. Now at the time I had like different ropes. I had a bull rope with me. I had a lasso with me. I had my lasso with me. So what do you do with the lasso? You lasso people, right? So we're in the parking lot, and Tiger had brought over Silent Brian, and now he goes by Macney. But at the time he was a deaf guy who had a mask on, and he was a good friend of Tiger GC. Nice guy. Well, I'm in the parking lot. I got this rope. We got nothing to do. So I rope him, and hog time. That's what you do, right? So years later, I run into Greg Oliver, and I said, hey, you ever see a guy named Silent Brian in Toronto? He goes, yeah, a Silent Macney, we call him now by his last name. I said, oh, tell him I said hi, please. And I said, I don't know if he remembers, but I lassoed him one time on a parking lot. So this is what Silent Brian sent to me back.
Oh, my God. JBL, fuck you.
That's 30 years later, there's Tiger Ollie Singh up here, right there. And Silent Brian is the one right there with the mask. So 30 years later, he's still mad at me. This is actually, I've got this hanging in my office right now that I'm so proud of this.
When did he send you that?
About a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months, something like that.
That's so great.
Yeah, recently. Greg Oliver brought it to me and said, hey, Brian sent this to you. He had the poster from Korea, has it laminated, and wrote on there, fuck you, JBL.
I love it.
It's possibly my greatest possession.
That's cooler than your world title over your head. I'll just be honest with you.
Absolutely. One other thing that happened was we were, you asked about Buddy Landell. Buddy was the nicest guy, but Buddy was huge at one point. And I don't mean just huge popularity, huge body wise. But when he shows up to Japan, he's not huge anymore. Kendo Nagasaki sees him and goes, what happened? Because you have a picture of Buddy, which is like, doesn't even look like the same guy, because Buddy's, not training and, not taking as much stuff as he was. But we used to go to Animal Hamaguchi's gym in Ueno Station, which was like one stop up in Tokyo. And it was upstairs. That's where Funaki was a young guy there. That's where I first met Funaki. And in fact, one of these swords back here that I've got was at Ueno Station. I used to see it all the time. When I first signed with Tenryu, my reward was buy myself one of those swords, which was at the time pretty expensive for me. But Buddy goes to the gym with us. That's also the place you get hash. So Buddy decides not to go to the gym. We come out 11 o'clock in the morning. Buddy's feeling really good. So no big deal. It's our day off. So I said, hey, the largest Shiite shrine in the world is right up the way. You guys want to go see it? So we walk through the whole, thing between all of the, merchants and everything, go up to the Shiite shrine, and they're having this huge religious ceremony. Well, Buddy is a televangelist now. Believe you, a televangelist. But he's pretty messed up on his hash. So he walks in the middle of some religious ceremony. He goes, my Savior's tomb is empty. there's somebody in that tomb, and just starts bashing this whole religious ceremony. It was almost an international incident. We're begging Buddy to get out of there. Buddy had some issues.
Wow. You ever spend any time in a noodle house?
Oh my God, yeah. So Buddy and I, Buddy and I, and several others, they wouldn't let Gaijin come into the noodle houses, for obvious reasons. Guys that come over there and they're young. The worst thing in the world is, like these military bases. And I love the military, but send a bunch of young guys away from home for the first time. They get to go drink beer in a place, that they can drink at 19 instead of 21. They're going to cause trouble. Yeah. So a lot of these noodle houses would ban Gaijin, wouldn't let you come in. We wanted to have a drink. So we tried to get in this noodle house. Wouldn't let us. It's the only place open. So we sat out on the curb, and we had a vending machine that used to serve beer in Tokyo. So we sat there. We're just sitting by the vending machine like homeless people, getting beer and drinking it, and sitting on the curb, feeling pretty good. So we said, let's go try the noodle house again. Go back in there. I said, can we please come to the noodle house? We'll tip well. We promise we'll behave. Buddy walks behind us and just throws up projectile vomits straight into the noodle house. And that pretty much ended the whole thing.
My gosh. Man, I'm here for more Buddy Landell stories. Let me ask you about Tiger. Is there a story about him asking you to do something with Kendo that you can share with us?
Oh, yeah. This was a big deal. So Tiger, look, I like Tiger. I got to tag with Tiger. His son I got along with. I ended up as a lead witness in the lawsuit when Tiger sued WWE on WWE's side. But Tiger, Dad, wanted to form his own company. And so Tiger was a very ambitious guy. And so the last night we're in Corcoran Hall, and Tiger had decided that he wanted to use an angle to take the talent and go form his own company. Well, nearly all the guys had agreed to jump and go to this different company. I had not agreed. So what the whole company was premised on, I was going to come in the last match, cause his son to lose, and then you're going to take the angle of me versus his son as the main angle for the new company. And Tiger had all of the Japanese magazines there that was going to cover it. Well, the problem with this was you're taking Kendo's talent on Kendo's show and going to a different company. So I'm sitting there, and everything in me said this was wrong. I'm young in the business. I'm young in life. But, all the guys had agreed to do this. And I didn't understand it because I thought it was wrong. So Tiger comes in the dressing room right before, the intermission. Last match was when I was supposed to go in and cause this disruption and screw his son and then take this angle and start a new company. And he tells me the whole where I'm supposed to come and stuff like that. And he leaves. And Bill Irwin's sitting there. And Bill Irwin's the only one in there. And Bill Irwin had not agreed to do any of this and leave the company or anything. And so I looked at Bill, and Bill said, remember who pays you. I said, you're right. I said, I can't screw Kendo. He comes and goes fishing with me. He's my buddy. He brought me over here. It's different if you leave and go to a different company. I figured sooner or later I would go to a bigger company, but I just didn't feel right about doing it from Kendo's company and sabotaging Kendo's show to do it. So when the last match came, I went and stood out, asked past where, say Gorilla would have been. And so they would know that I was there. Not that I forgot. So they did a spot. I didn't come. They did the spot again. I didn't come. They look at me and give me the Iggy, and I don't come. I want them to know that I didn't forget, that I'm not coming. And so they finally did a different finish. So I went to the back, and I thought, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen. This probably isn't going to be very good. I went back and sat in the dressing room, waited for the fallout, and Tiger walks in. I got up. He shook my hand. He goes, I understand why you did what you did, and walked out. And that was it. And he took all the Americans out for drinks that night. Not me and Bill are one of the only ones that weren't invited. And, had this new company that they were going to form, but for whatever reason, it never got formed.